Today I wanted to make a video working on the Cherri compiler. One of the, let me pull this up, one of the things that we don't have in Cherri, and I was thinking about this just a second ago. I'm just using this file as an example. We can undo this and ignore it. But I was noticing that, I was adding this media metadata that actually got renamed. I was noticing that it was like, okay, so we have the media variable, and then we have the artwork, and the artwork is optional, but the artwork takes a value of type variable. And so, conceivably, you could do this. You could just have an empty variable and not put anything in there so that you can, still proceed. Because if I just say like false or something, it's gonna go like, well, that's a Boolean type. Excuse me. And we're looking for a variable type. If I say null, I'm gonna, get a legal character or unknown value type. Same thing for nil. I would have to just make an empty variable to assign here if I didn't want to put an artwork and I wanted to actually start going on to the other fields like title and artist and so on. So today I wanted to make it so that we don't have to do that, and instead we can put nil here. I like nil. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe I like it because it's the like new programming language thing, where they use nil instead of null. But I don't know, it feels a bit easier to type for some reason to me, and it's like a character shorter. So like, I don't know, I just think that this is where languages are headed, and it has clear advantages. So basically I'm just gonna go over how I work in the compiler and go over like how I would go about implementing something like this. Maybe this will be pretty simple, and it's like we won't have to delve too deep into the compiler, but it'll still be a good video, because I would like to have more videos that do this, probably just for people who learn a little bit differently to get into the compiler. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I get to disable this test so that my test works. Yeah, so I have this compilation test that's also the language examples, and one of those tests doesn't pass right now, so and it's just, I haven't added it to the repo, so I'm gonna make a new test called nil.cherri, and we'll do exactly what I was talking about. So what was the strip media metadata? Oh no, set metadata, that's what it was. Okay. So yeah, we have a function like we have an action like this. We have set metadata. And I could do something like, what is it, select photos? Yeah. We could do media. We do like select file. I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense. Like, because I'm like, well, that's not what this is used for typically, but like this would I'm thinking I need to rename this action to like set media metadata, because this is like it's like a combined version of or it's like like one so in like the compiler, I'll like split actions into sometimes like multiple actions, and set metadata is encode media, but with just stuff set to normal settings, but it's clearing out the metadata. So you wouldn't use photos for this, basically. That's all. But that's not the thing that we're looking to do here. Okay, so this is going to be the test. We have media here, and we want to be able to nil this out so that we can put a title here. And I'll go ahead and add this to my syntax highlighting. I would probably get this with these guys. And there we go. And we have some syntax highlighting for it. So, oops. We're gonna run the test, and yeah, we're gonna get an unknown value type of nil, because we've gotten to the part in the parser where we're just like, okay, I guess try to collect a reference. So this is gonna be when we collect a value. If you want to see like a full thing of like the parsing, like I'll cover how we get here. I'm pretty sure it's just like we're going to the nil.cherri. We're going to be collecting this variable, collecting this action. We got to collect this action. We got to collect collect action call, collect action, standard actions, collect until collect arguments. We're going to collect this variable, which lines up here, and that's why we don't get an error. It's a valid reference. But whenever we go to collect arguments, we collect an argument, which eventually leads to us collecting a value. We collect value generally in actions, but we'll also check them. We'll also use it in like statements, like if. Whenever I'm getting this like first thing here, whatever the conditional is, or like menu, it's like prompt. This would look for a value here. Like it's basically just we're looking for any kind of literal, I think it is. Like we're looking for a string, we're looking for a reference. And you can see that here, or an integer, yeah. So I think what I would do here is just add in case token head nil. Right, we need to add a token. So we need to go to token. And I'm going to say that this goes in the types next to Boolean. So a token type, like as you can see here, is it's basically just a string type, but we are putting the value of the token as something that we probably want to look for. Like in the case of true or false, I think that we don't actually do that. Maybe we do. But in the case of like true or false, we are actually using that to collect the value. You can see the integer thing here. Whenever we check for an integer, we're checking if any of these characters exist, and then we collect, and then once we don't have 0 through 9 dot dash, then we no longer have an integer. So some of these are like semantic and it doesn't really matter, like conditional. It's basically just so that we can have the conditional token. But as you can see here, when we're doing token ahead, I'm giving it a token that I would like to be like, okay, that's ahead. If that's ahead, go ahead, and then now we'll do other stuff. So like, I don't know, the parser is very token based in that way, where we have types of tokens already defined, and so we can use the value of those sometimes to do like is token, so that would be like a single character token. Token ahead would be like, as you can see here, like go through the token characters and make sure that they all match, and if they do, then we have the full like token it matches. And token ahead, we can run it multiple times. We can see if a string contains tokens, if tokens occur in a string. Oh, this is how many times they occur. I was looking at it, I was like, that's the same function. Yeah, otherwise we're pretty like char based, but yeah, we mostly go around with tokens. Okay, so now I've gotten to the more like the deeper that you go, advanced times is token, the more you're gonna get like just functions related to parsing and like the error functions and warnings and stuff. So I got kind of out of here. There we go. Okay, so I was thinking that we don't just like, just skip over it, whatever. It's like we still need to like mark it as like a thing, I think. Because otherwise we're just gonna have to have a bunch of like exceptions, and we're already gonna need to. We could just not even set the value. That'll make it nil. Okay, so then so we can collect these values. So what happens now? Yeah. So now we need to go through with action checking. So in the compiler, whenever we where is it? We could actually just go to the start with parser. So collect action is called from call action call, or it's called from the value collector. And we get the identifier, we collect the arguments, and so we technically have like these arguments already like I think in memory before we actually check them. Yeah, we'll check very. Oh no, that's the thing, is that I refactored this, I forgot. Is that we'll we'll like do a type check on it. Yeah, and so this is like as we're the cursor is around the actual argument. This is something I had refactored recently and forgot about. I wanted to have parsing at some point because of the way it was structured at the time, that when we got to these arguments, we didn't just that we stopped if something was wrong, and not, we collected all these arguments, okay, now let's go through and check them like each. It made for really confusing errors that weren't on the right line and stuff, like in this thing here. So that was not great, but now it's all refactored, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we check the arg and we do a type check, and this is where we get the invalid value. Okay, so okay, so that's really funny. That is interesting that it would, yeah. Oh wait, because it's a literal value. It's not a variable value. That's really funny. So I think what we need to do is the same thing that we're doing here with a question. Because question is another one of those things where it's just like we're just gonna put in the rev, like we'll let the plist generator worry about those, and that's probably what we're gonna have to do for this as well, because I think that this will actually compile. Oh, I was wrong. Ooh, that's nasty. Yep, plist. Okay. Right. Okay. Because then we get an argument value, and we're trying to do a weird string thing. It's probably somewhere here I can just sort of cut out variable plist value. Attachment values. Oh, right. So yeah, so this is happening because we're trying to determine any attachment value. So this all has to do with like inline variables here. So that's why you have like string var here, attachment variable. Collect inline variables, create variable index. Yeah, this is a whole thing. Someday I'm gonna have to redo because I don't know. I allow myself to not make something perfect the first time and just make it and just get it working, because that's kind of like that's the important thing, and you're not gonna just feel like oh I already did or like well I've gotten as far as I want with this, I never really got it working, but I gotta learn something. It's like it's gonna be so much better if you just actually figure it out and then go back later and then be like, okay, like I get how to do this now, and then I can go back and refactor. Like, it's just much more satisfying. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to reset my font. I thought I'd make it a little bigger for the video, but I can't do that. Okay, make variable value. That's another one that we might have to do. Because I don't know, I've always thought that it looked really weird that is the empty variable declaration, and I guess it's like you don't have a semicolon to do it. But I think it might like look a lot more natural like that, Still gonna crash though. I think at this point I'll just do examples with Cherri. We can get the debug output here. Oh man, so we're actually panicking hard. Cause yeah, we're just straight up doing some meta index. Damn. Okay, so we go to action parameters. Okay, so we're making so this is where this is where it matters. So we're going from main to plist gen. We start to make we start to generate the actions. The actions section of the plist. A plist is basically just a bunch of data, just a bunch of keys and values, and then we have a main like actions sort of like key for a dictionary that contains a bunch of dictionaries of actions and all their dictionaries and their parameters. So we go to generate that part of it, and and we switch on the tokens that we've collected through parsing. So we have a whole we have a whole list of every action in the shortcut at this point, and we're just going through what type of action it is. So you can see like we can var, comment, action, repeat, blah blah blah. So we're gonna go to the action. I think from there we go to the parameters, and it's here where interface is nil, not string. Okay, so we need to convert this into a switch on the valid type of the argument. So we'll put variable and move that there. Case nil. That's default. Anytime that you can move something to the switch, do it, like in a compiled language, because like, you know, even if you have a little bit of a runtime like Go does, it's like it's still just, it's gonna be so much faster. And that's why I love that you can do like a select statement. That's a new like kind of like twist on the switch statement, but you can also do an empty switch statement and just have cases, so you can just fully utilize the power of jump tables or whatever, right? Okay, so we have these parameters, and so we're basically asking for, if we don't have a make function but we have parameters, we need to iterate through those parameters and just automatically make each of the values of the parameters. So this is when we're actually like making the parameter. So I think maybe we could actually just like append some plist data here. And depending on the valid type, I think for the parameter we'll create a value maybe, but it'll be an empty value. So we're going to append to params a plist data, and fill all the fields. The key is going to be the argument key. The value is going to be nil, so we can get rid of it. And the data type, so is a parameter. I could get messed up here. A plist data type is not a token type, because plist data takes a plist data type, because they have separate data types between arguments and, or just tokens, and then there's like data types, token types, and there's data types for the plist, because there's a limited number of data types that we can use. So I don't imagine that I'm going to be able to just give it valid type, but I don't think that I can just convert it. Maybe I can. Maybe because it's a string I can. 22. Valid type. Okay, so we need to actually, okay, so, do we have like the current argument? Can we do arguments I dot value type equals to nil? Oh, whoops. Fucking JavaScript. Yeah, then we can say that we return this. Or that we append this. That's fine. Now we can like do continue. Oh, jeez, what is this? Does that make sense? I'm like, did I reverse that correctly? Uh-oh. What's that about? Out of range to like 0. Length of arguments is 0. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm just okay. Oh. I feel like yeah, okay. And then just shortcuts isn't gonna like it. Okay. So that probably has to do with oh well, yeah, first I need to see the people, so let's make sure that we have a fresh one. Let's see. So yeah, there's the variable, here's the encode media. So we have the parameters here. There's the media, that's the reference to the select photos thing up there. That's the variable that it gets put into. Let's keep it simple. for now. Okay, so where's the... Okay, code media. So there was like one thing that I didn't want to set. Artwork. Ooh, bad. Bad. Okay, so we're not properly... by the way, we can also bring this back. That ended up being fine. Right. Yeah, okay. So yeah, else it's an argument value, but it's a variable. We need to put it in we need to put it in as a variable. This is fine. It doesn't need to be a switch. We're just saying if it's a variable, great. If it's not, go do that. And I think that makes perfect sense. Let's see. So, are we going to need to switch on the type? Oh, fuck. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. I don't know why I care. Never mind. Right, so, you know what we do? I'm realizing now, this is kind of silly. We shouldn't include it at all. If you don't include... Yeah. I'm going to probably put that as last. Really? Wow, okay. Yeah, if we just don't include the parameter, then we should be fine. Hey, there we go. Yeah, it got signed. Okay. So, I think that's it. And that's signed. Okay. Look at it. So we just did. Wow, that's actually kind of neat. So essentially, what we just did is this is when we create the actual parameter, and so essentially, like a lot of things are in action. And I'm pretty sure that this comes from, like, where do we call this? Yeah, so this is when we actually go to make the action. And we do this with, a variable as well. When we go and we make like an input value. But I think we get to a similar place here. No, okay, that's not right. I think that it's like in every other case, maybe it's fine. Maybe that's just that like was just one place where we hadn't accounted for that. Like having an empty value or something. I don't know. Huh. I think it's like I think I just I don't know, because I'm like, well, what do we do then if it's optional? Maybe we could have whoops. When we an optional parameter, yeah. So that's just where we check it. But we probably eventually... get to where we make the action. Huh. Argument value. Yeah, like would that work? It seems like it does. Now I'm like, well, I mean, it was good that we like, I don't know, looked into that. Like some of that was weird, but I don't know. It's like I feel like it was fine otherwise. Okay, so that's variable. Where's the yeah, this was the thing. Can we just get rid of that? No. Am I just missing like an optional thing around here? Right, because it's like right here is where we coerce it. I'm like, I feel like an idiot right now. Huh. No, that actually does make the most sense. Where did I put that? Yeah, but I was just doing something. What was that? Okay, let me look at my stash. My stash. Yeah, that one. And then peel start. Okay, yeah. But, so, hold on. I think that we should put that there for, like, safekeeping or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. Because, like, if it's gonna be... You probably wouldn't get this far, though, would you? Because that's preventing it from calling action or argument value. This is preventing it from calling it. Did we call argument value anywhere else? Yes, we do. Okay, so we would be calling this independently. So yeah, so that makes sense. I'm curious how that works for variable values, though. I'm very surprised that like it's not some weird like parsing here. Huh. Let's see what shortcut this produces. Well, would you look at that? So the artwork is not set, but we set a title, just like we wanted to. And yeah, we set a media variable to nothing, to nil. So You know, I think that maybe that this is fine here, because what I'm thinking about is if you use it in like a conditional statement or something, or a loop statement, like we're just gonna go collect the value, and I don't think that we're really like expecting any particular value. I would just be interested in what would happen if we were to do that. Oh, there we go. We're trying to coerce it. Oh. What? Wait, so... And then it, like, works, right? I'm like... Okay, yeah. Weird. So it's not like collecting a value. Huh. Okay. I'm trying to think about that. Like, couldn't you do an argument value here? What's prime value return? Plist data. Yeah. Is it just that it would need to be in like an array of arguments? This is already kind of that. I kind of want to try it. See, but isn't that what this is, though? Kind of. Okay. Argument value is just a shortcut to param value. So what what we actually need to do is move it here. Valid type. We have the arg. So arg, yeah, value type equal to nil. Not enough arguments to call to argument value. Oh, whoops. That's its default value, isn't it? Where's the main window? There it is. Okay. think so. Like we just repeat. I know a way to actually confirm is to like get the plist out and look at it. Yep. Yeah. Like, we just don't set the repeat count if we set it to nil. That's great. That's really great. All right, that's like working better than expected. Yeah. What about if statements? If int equal to nil. Is it just gonna be perfect? Oh, yes, it is actually. So it just worked. Okay. So we have a global thing now. Oh, whoops, it's item now. Do we have a global thing now that will just work? No. Okay. I was like, okay, somewhere. There's got to be somewhere where it's still getting through. Text value. Appeals key value. Okay, we looped through a dictionary basically. Why did we do that? We went to make a dictionary. We went to do this. Okay, so something was not processed. So that is menu, which is probably just gonna, yeah, it's plist menu. I think it's any more complicated than this. Yeah. It's a pretty simple action, actually. It's a little, difficult because it's got stuff, but, Oh yeah, that's where we make the menu items thing, so that we can make it a switch statement. You don't have to specify those menu items. So maybe these are the items, I don't know. Oh, those are the menu items. So where's the ending thing? Alright, yeah, the starting one. We do a param value though. Okay, so then maybe it goes back to how we collect. What I'm going off of is like, okay, so we got this token, so is it based on how we collect a menu? In parsing? Okay, so let's see. We can print out oops, this one first. Print the type and the value. No. Okay. So presumably we're going to param value Otherwise, we handle it as an attachment value. Gotcha. Okay. So no, actually. No, it's because we get the key value. What is the hole here? I'm like, how did we make it out of this? Because this just makes the data. Let's print this, like the data structure. So this happens before we even get here? Like, how is that possible? I feel like there's more steps here that we're not saying, because we're just getting to the actions and then we go to actually print it out. Maybe it's, so I think what we could do is when we go to make a plist menu, get the terminal out of here, we could check if token value type is nil. Before I change that to a switch statement, let me just make sure we're in the right place. So, let me do what I was talking about. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I would really like to not half-ass this feature. I want you to be able to put nil anywhere if you really want to. I'm trying to think of what other statements like just might not. You know, it's probably all these places where we're not expecting you to do that, because I'm like, what about a question, right? Surprised this isn't in the syntax. Okay. Yeah, we do like a string and a string after a reference, right? Yeah. Right, because it's a reference. Right. So if I were to just say nil, what would happen? We would eventually expected question prompt string. Okay, so we're like, hey, we didn't get we didn't get a double quote, so hey, what's going on here? That's actually pretty fair, because never mind. Okay, that was silly, because I'm like, actually, it's not possible to like, even if you were to make it work that way and put the proper value in there, shortcuts would probably reject it, or like just have this stuff in the declaration in the P list. Like, whenever you actually brought it up, it would just be a bunch of P list, like raw, like XML probably. So I think that we might actually have all of the statements, if I'm not mistaken. A constant could also be nil. I'll look at the other syntax terms, see if I can think of anything. I didn't try for yet. I need to try that. See, let's try that one. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. No, I meant to go to the... Whoops. Here we go. Okay. That is so funny to me. Oh man, it's like we're saying that we want to collect until this thing, and we even advance afterwards, and it's still on the bracket for some reason. That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so we have like a built-in debug function called printchar, and we use this in the debug because you can just give this a rune, you know, and it'll just print it out. If there's a current line and line index number, it'll add that, but yeah. I use it as a debug function whenever I'm just somewhere and I want to print the current character. But I ended up justifying it with a debug output that, like, here has the previous character, current character, next character, current line, like for parsing debug. Because otherwise this function wouldn't be used anywhere and it'd be kind of pointless. So there's a space. Why would we go to a space? Right, okay. I think in cases like this, we need to do that. we could should probably do this. Oh man, is that just there because of that? That's really funny. It's like skipping over it, so it's like I don't like it. That's funny. But what if we do that for nil though? Is that what happens? Because I'm like, then shouldn't we do that also for false and true and dictionary and array and string and integer? Like pretty much everything. Oh man. Maybe the array. Dictionary. Maybe a string. Integer. It's because of the integer type. Yeah, I actually don't know. Yeah, it'll work for some of these no matter what, but I think I'm realizing what's happening is we're advancing past this and probably hitting like an R here or something. But then why is it down here? Maybe it's collecting for... Maybe it just keeps collecting because we're like skipping white space or something. Because I'm like, that would actually break stuff, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's just do that for nil. I mean, that fixes our nil issue. I imagine we have an if statement. We have this would be, yeah, repeat with each item in nothing. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So that's all the statements that we would need to do. I kind of want to see what happens if I do this. Nothing happens, actually. That's kind of cool, honestly. I don't know why. I really like that. It actually clears anything out. And that's pretty cool. Now I imagine, I actually don't know if it's like, hey, we don't have any arguments. Why are you doing that? Yeah, too many arguments for action, nothing. Like, yeah, you can't just put it in stuff that doesn't have arguments, or like just put it in stupid places or whatever, but yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, let's do this. We'll have this test here for nil, And oh, that'll look stupid. Get file or something? No. That's gonna blow up. Yeah. Oh, whoops. Yeah, MT was fine. It's not gonna be mad about me doing that. Okay. I don't remember what the definition for get file is, so whatever, I guess. Okay, we gotta get rid of those erroneous uses of print char. Yeah, we got a couple of them here. And collecting repeat eaches. No debug output comes out now, right? Okay. Alright, well, yeah, I think that this is pretty good. I'm happy with this. I'm gonna need to add it as a keyword in the playground, but otherwise I'm happy. I always kind of wanted to implement like a null terminating thing, like just like a clear this out, like no, I don't want to give this a value, and you can do that wherever you want, you know, for whatever reason, just like you could in a programming language, you know. Well, generally, like you're not going to be able to do this for like everything, I imagine, and if you are, then it's like, well, that's on you. You're not giving it and you're not giving it anything for that argument, so it's like maybe someone would want it to work that way for on purpose or something, for whatever reason. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good video, and it's fun. This was I got to go through a few things. There was maybe a bit of awkward silence, but you know what? That's okay. Okay, let's go through committing this. So I usually just do it in chunks. I just go over to my no, actually, this is not going to be level. Okay. Yeah, so let's do the chunks here then. Okay, and I had reset it before that, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. That is more of an optimization that we made for this. Oh, no, it doesn't include nil. Okay. Nil. Is that a little too far over? Why is that so far over? Oh, it's just in the thing. Okay. Yep, we converted that to that. Okay, so this is all just like one commit. Implement nil keyword. I always just think it would be literal. I don't know what the correct term for it is. I don't know what the correct term for it is. Because I want to say directive or like no. Yeah, I'm just gonna say keyword. That's fine. Into it because this is, you know, it's like new syntax. This implements. That wouldn't really be a keyword, would it? Nil value type. I'll do that. Yeah. This implements the nil. This implements a null or nil value type that can be used in any syntax where a value is expected. In the case that nil is used in a when the value is expected, that parameter will not be filled out, or better or worse. This is an optional. This is inspired by the want to clear out arguments that are not required but don't want to have to provide an empty value of that type, for which some do not exist. Dictionary, arrays, variable, I will say variable, array, variable, variables, equals. No, levels. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nil away. No, I'm not putting that in there, but that's a thing people got to see in the video. There you go. Okay, so I think that was pretty fun. Let me add, first of all, make sure from like, oh yeah, I'm gonna add a test. Make sure the test actually works. There you go, add nil value type test. Okay, so we are done. We can put nil in the place of a variable, or really any kind of value that we just don't want to fill out for some reason. I think that this is a nice optional thing because you have this freedom in shortcuts generally to just be like, I'm just not going to fill that out. What I've discovered with shortcuts is that you could basically just have a thing that has the identifier of the action, like just in the, like in the, how do I explain this? Yeah, here we go. So this is a array of dictionaries that are the actions. And so let's suppose here we have, when we did get file nil, what we were saying is that we want to essentially just, not have anything. We didn't give it any parameters, and here we just have a dictionary of the custom output name and the UUID, which is media, because that's the output variable, which we just put there because, I don't know. I think maybe we could remove that at some point, but if it makes for like a slightly smaller shortcut, that'd be something to pursue someday. Anyway, that's another video. But yeah, if we just don't put anything here, I found that, check this out. It doesn't care. Like we're just basically saying, like, we want the most, we can default a thing as much as we want, and I'm like, I want that to be, because, you know, in shortcuts you can just and just, you know, get an action, and, you know, maybe it's taking some guesswork for you here, but I'd like it to be like that, where it's like, all right, I can put a repeat down here. I can just put it as nil, just like I would if I'm like, okay, I can put a repeat down here, but I don't know. I just think that it gives you some freedom, especially if I don't know, a shortcut's arguments are kind of long or something, which as time goes on we're not going to be able to avoid as much with the actions that are more complex that haven't been implemented yet. So I think that this is one of those things that will also allow for that. I was kind of thinking about that lately too, and that kind of inspired this as well. Just like, oh, well, we're gonna have to have a lot of arguments, we should be able to null those out, so that if we can't come up with a clever way to like split an action into a bunch of actions that are a little more straightforward and convenient, because, you know, they put an entire UI inside of an action block, which is a little silly in my opinion. Well, I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't work for like programming. It doesn't, you know, it's like, it's not akin to programming. It's more of like, here's a UI to do this thing, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, if we're saying that like shortcuts is sort of a basic programming language, that's not very programming language like, but they also have a UI, so who am I to judge them? I'm sure they have their reasons. Yeah, so we'll not have to worry about that as much, not only because of optional arguments, but because if we need to use a, you know, like the fifth argument or something, and we don't have to fill out these other ones, we can do that now. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so that's gonna be it for today. I think I want to make a video after this on defining an action in Cherri, because I think it's a pretty easy thing to do, that I think even someone who's not very familiar with Go could do, if they can figure it out. Like, it's a pretty straightforward thing to do, and it's, in some cases, like if you've programmed in other languages, it's just kind of putting the right things in the right places. I mean, making the right data structures based on this, like a p list of the actions. Like, I was making these encode media actions, looking at these, and showing people how to do that, because I think that'll help with contribution. The other video I'd like to make is maybe we could go down that rabbit hole of like whether or not we need this. I could do kind of chronicles on making where is it? Yeah, improve custom actions. So I'm trying to make actions behave more like functions, and where you can actually define arguments of certain types, and in a way, like, have your own custom actions, have your own actions that you can just run whenever you want. That can be really great, you know, especially if you have like a bunch of includes. It's like, yeah, I think that would take maybe more compilation time, but I think it would be worth it, and it'd be cool. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna call it then for today. I had a lot of fun. I want to try and make more videos like this. Thanks for hanging out and watching this. Bye bye.